Hi, welcome back. I'm Joe. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. This convo is inspired by a book that I was led to read, Women Who Run with Wolves. And I was gifted this book about 3 years ago. And although I tried to read it, clearly I wasn't ready at that moment in my life, in that space. And just recently, I kept hearing the message of wolves. The book seemingly kept shimmering in the background. Then, when I took to social media sites, I started seeing other women that were doing book clubs on the book. It was like every time I looked around, this book was in my presence. I went camping recently to Sequoia, and I remember telling a couple girlfriends, I feel like I'm being led to read Women Who Run with Wolves. And instantly my two girlfriends that I told about that said, oh my goodness, I have that book too, and I haven't read it. And immediately I knew, I said, you know what, that's it. God is leading me to read this book. To my surprise, or actually it's not my surprise, but clearly I am ready. This book has been on the New York Times bestsellers list for years. And even though that's not surprising because it is a phenomenal read, and it's not just about women, despite the title, but what does surprise me about it being on the best-selling list is because I question, for one, it's such a deep read. I really was surprised to know that many people could follow along with its teachings. And I already know, even out of the ones who have read the book, I already know just organically a slim amount would actually do as the book suggests, which is really, it's all about connecting with that wild nature that is our innate nature anyway as women. And then it talks about the type of man you have to be to attract or stay with a wild woman. And wild, not as in reckless, but wild as in a woman who's living in their highest form, who is living in their divine purpose, who is living, quite frankly, as they are meant to live. And it's all about connecting back to that source. And that is everything we talk about on the Ultimate Love Letter, right? Whether you're male or female, it's all about connecting with the divine within you. But even though I am just shy of halfway through the book, something stood out to me today, and this is what inspired this conversation. It's all about the life, death, life cycle. And what that means, everything in life, whether it's our beliefs, whether it's wherever we're at spiritually, whether that's relationships, our dreams, our careers, our personal growth, everything in life that is living has to and will absolutely go through a life, death, life cycle. Everything living. There will never be anything that just blooms all the time. And we learn that from nature. Nature has its 4 seasons. Things die so they can grow. Things wither and they come back better then. So the life, death, life concept, the cycles, it's all about honoring what needs to die in order so life can begin. So basically, anything that we give birth to, which is life, the first step, we give birth to possibly a new career. We give birth to possibly a new book. We give birth to a new relationship. We give birth to a new elevation on our spiritual journey. With that life, That's step one. In comes excitement, the honeymoon phase. In comes all possibilities. But there absolutely will come a point where decay will enter. And the decay represents the death, represents the death that comes after the initial life. And when we're met with decay, that is not our moment to run from what it's teaching us, but to instead dive deeper into what the cycles are showing us. So for me, what actually resonated deeply with me personally is that I have recently allowed several things in my life to die over the last 6 months. Late last year, I allowed several things to die. One being a big relationship in my life that I thought was going to be in my life forever. And what the book explains is honoring what must die in your life. And for me, as of the last 6 months, what it was a relationship. What it is honoring the death which is the knowing that this situation, in my case, it was this relationship, cannot grow beyond this point. It is honoring love in the cycle. It is honoring that we are not to force love on another. We are not to force others to grow. We are to step into true love, which is simply allowing space for everyone to be and grow at their own pace. At the same time, it's a moment to honor love for ourselves, to understand that we are not to abandon our true self. We are not to stop growing and evolving because perhaps this thing that's in our life is decaying. It's all about not allowing the stoppage of life. Or another way of saying it is allowing life to continue to flow, allowing the cycles to be honored, to allow whatever needs to die in our life to die off, so that guess what happens next? Life again can grow. So in the life theory or truth, I will just say, things come into our life. We're excited. We're learning for them. We're growing with them. We're savoring them. Everything that comes into our life is not necessarily meant to stay. Death will come to certain things. And as that death enters, we are to honor that space as well. Honor the death. Allow things that need to go with grace, with wisdom. Because as we do allow those things to die off, those cycles, those outworn beliefs, those limiting beliefs, those doubts, that fear, as we allow all those lower than we're worthy of relationships to die off, then new life can only grow in its place. And that is where we allow the opportunity of new life to come in. My question to you is, perhaps you're in a death cycle right now, meaning perhaps we're clinging to something that is trying to die off, something that has actually already died off. Perhaps it's the job that you hold, that you know it's not going anywhere, you're not fulfilled. It's mundane, it's beneath you, you know it, you feel it. It has run its course. It has outlived the time. Are we honoring this moment for it to die off? Or are we clinging to it? If we're clinging to the death process, then guess what? We cannot allow for the third stage, which is the life again, to come back. If you are clinging to old jobs that have run its course and you're not letting them pass, there is no way new life, nothing can be renewed or rejuvenated. Life cannot come back to life until we honor this part, the death. Perhaps you're in a relationship. And again, you know when a relationship has run its course. The book also talks about the wild woman. She knows when to go and she knows when to stay. Perhaps you're in a relationship right now, whether you're male or female, and you know the relationship has run its course. It is dying. It is dead. If we do not honor that cycle, new life cannot come in. It will not. We are stopping life from happening. We are not honoring the natural order of things. Another way of saying it is we got to let go so that we can grow. And the truth is, if we are not letting go, if we are not honoring the cycles, the life, death, life cycles, then we remain stagnant. Then we don't grow. Nothing better can come in its place. If we are stopping at the death phase and clinging to it and not allowing it to pass. I don't know about you, but I promised myself a long time ago, I'm going to go all the way. When I get to the end of this life, I want to have no question in my mind how far I could have grown. No. When I get to the end of this life, I'm going to be able to see exactly how far I was able to go. Because I refuse to allow anything to stunt my growth. I refuse to allow anything to stop me from going and achieving the very things, the promises, the rewards that God says I can have when I simply honor life cycles. Everything will not always bloom. It will not always be roses. And if we are clinging to the thought of possibly this job will get better, or possibly my girlfriend will begin to heal, or possibly that man, I can change him, what you're essentially doing in all truth is you're clinging to death. And that is it. You are allowing essentially a blood clot. You are not allowing the decay to happen. You are not allowing the death to happen with grace, knowing that renewal is on the other side of it. The book speaks about the wild woman knows and is not afraid of the death cycle because she knows death is not the end. Death is actually the beginning. Because once you allow whatever that needs to die, whatever needs to go, whatever you need to be loving from afar, whatever you need to be releasing in the cycle, then you know after that you have just made room. You have made space for life to come in again. And what does that look like? What does renewal look like? If it's a mundane job that you don't enjoy and it's dying off and now you release it, you let it go to the grave, then a new job will be reborn, something that is better aligned. If a relationship has outlived its course, you know it's beneath you, you know it's not serving you. If you understand that this relationship is not the end, it is the beginning of everything you have become to even reach the death cycle in the first place. If death is meeting you, if decay is meeting you, that's really a point where you can congratulate yourself. You have grown. You have outlived this thing. You are now ready for the new, grander, shinier, better, more aligned thing to come in its place. Allow what needs to go, understanding it is not the end, it is the beginning. This is where our discernment comes in. This is where our truth is. We're moving with faith, we're moving with discernment, knowing in our spirit, yes, I'm ready for the next level. Yes, I'm ready for the grander relationship. Yes, I'm ready for more money. Yes, I'm ready for the bigger home. Yes, I'm ready for the better career. That's my discernment. That's my soul telling me what I'm destined for. And when I look around, no, I can't bring all the things that have died, that refuse to grow with me. I have to make room. I have to wish them well. I have to bury them with grace. And as I do, I step into more aligned situations with my name on it. No, no, no. Death is not the end. It is simply the beginning. There is nothing to fear. Allow anything that has ran its course, allow anything that is preventing you from going to that next level to simply fall at the wayside. Wish it well. Love it from afar. Honor what the death has taught you. And then allow life to be reborn and renewed in the next phase. That's the secret. And that's it. And we are learning that from the seasons in nature if we are following along, if we have eyes to see. Yeah. I'm quite different than what I was 6 months ago. And that difference only came about because I allowed things to die when it was proper for them to do so. I know it hurts. We want to bring everybody with us. I know it hurts. We think no one better is coming. I know it hurts. We don't want to be alone. But the truth is, God is really only trying to give you better, bigger, grander, more fulfilling experiences, more fulfilling, higher level connections. But that's going to mean you're going to have to allow the decay to happen of the old self, of our own beliefs, our old beliefs. This is a point where I am learning so deeply right now. I realize even though I felt like I was spiritually in tune 6 months ago, it is nothing compared to who I am today. I am sharper. I trust God even further. He has had to help me with grace release even the limited beliefs that I was still holding on to just 6 months ago. It's gnarly. It's gnarly. Like the rabbit hole goes so deep. You can grow so big and tall and wide and expansive. Like there's never any end to how far we can grow if we allow it to happen, if we allow the life and the death and the life cycle. And so I've changed unimaginably just in 6 months. I can't even imagine what the next 6 months is going to look like. I can't even. 6 years, I'm going to explode. I'm never going to stop growing. That's the promise I made to myself. That's the promise I made to God. Whatever is born, I'm grateful for it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to nurture it. And when it's time to die, I'm going to open my hands and I'm going to let it go, because then I know it's time for something bigger and grander and more bolder to grow in its place. Don't limit yourself, y'all. Let it die. Don't stop at the death cycle. Don't fear the death and what everything is trying to teach us with it. God is trying to prosper you, but He can only do that if you allow what no longer serves to go. Thank you so much for joining this combo. I just wanted to give that to you just real quick. That's something that I really grasped today. And I'm a big emotional, just crybaby. I cried about it several times today because it just hit so deep. And I realized, wow, when I was questioning myself, and I question myself a lot when I have to release situations. I usually fast about it. I go into prayer and meditation about it, even though I got all the confirmations, and then I know, okay, yeah, I need to let that go. But as I'm reading this book, it just double, triple confirmed. Like, yeah, I'm a right path. That was dead. There was no way you were going to take that to the next level. Everyone cannot and will not grow with you to the next level. There's no way. If you're thinking you're going to take everyone with you, you will not go. You're not going to not only not take them, you're not going to be able to go yourself, and they're going to keep you instead on these lower levels. If you're okay with that, then bet. That's what you've decided. But for the rest of us that want to climb that mountain, the rest of us that want to see how light, how good it can actually get, allow the death to happen. It is the only way for something better to come alive again. Thank you for being here. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.